We talked about what we want to do when we retire, but how are we going to do it? Today we're going to talk about our FIRE number and step by step how you calculate your FIRE number. So stick with us and we'll show you how we're going to achieve FIRE in 2024 or 2028.
We will see it. Hey guys, welcome back. My name is Jean.
And I'm Christine.
We are so happy to have you with us today. If you are new to this channel, we are a Canadian couple in our mid-40s living in Toronto, Canada. Our journey to financial independence started in 2019, not so long ago. We are in 2021. Either way, with $60,000 in consumer debt. Our goal is actually to retire early and become financial independent in 2028 or 2024. We are still debating who is right or wrong. I think that she is right, but we will see it. So on today's video, we are going to share with you the steps that we need to consider to calculate our FIRE number. Not only that, our FIRE number itself, we are excited to share this number with you. What is really important is, remember, we are not financial advisors, but we really encourage you to talk to somebody who has experience, a financial planner, maybe a fee-for-service financial planner, because it does make a difference. Not only that, we also wanted to share with you our previous video where we actually decided to see what is our FIRE plan, some of the considerations that we have to get to this number. If you have not seen that video before, I would suggest you to do it. It is going to be, I'm sorry, it's going to be right here. The video, and feel free to use the chapters if you want to skip and get to the number itself. We are excited, so we should get started.
Let's go.
Let's go.
So going back to our previous video, what are the factors to consider when you're calculating your FIRE number? The three areas that we considered in our previous video were people, location, and lifestyle. Briefly going back over it, how many people are you going to be planning for? What kind of lifestyle are you looking to live in retirement? And what type of location are you going to be in? Are you going to be in North America or are you going to be traveling abroad? So looking at those three categories, you need to determine what your budget or expenses are going to be going forward. And a good way to determine that is to kind of get an idea of what you're spending already on things like your housing expenses, your groceries, your entertainment, insurance, life insurance, car insurance, house insurance, stuff like that.
Booze.
Drinks. Also, your vehicles. Are you going to have to replace a vehicle? Do you still currently have car payments on your vehicle? Do you like to take vacations? How many vacations a year do you like to take? What type of vacation do you like to take, which could greatly affect your budget?
Yes.
Do you have debt that requires repayment still? That's a big one. Usually it revolves around housing, but it could be any type of debt. Last but not least, you have to think about your emergency fund, just in case something happens, and the good old government and taxes that you will have to pay on the money you earn. Regardless, even in retirement, taxes are a thing. Yeah.
Two things that you know in our lives is we're gonna travel, we're gonna die, and we're gonna pay taxes.
Yeah, it's inevitable.
No, it is, which is okay. So, kind of going back to your point, it's really important the need of having a budget, right? So if you don't have a budget, if you are not tracking your expenses, it's not monthly. Yes, it is monthly, but throughout the year. It's not something that you do at once and then you set and forget. It does not work. So you gotta go and start tracking your budget expenses every single month.
Yeah,
right?
That way it gives you an idea of what you're going to be spending in the future, what you might not be spending on in the future too, depending, right?
Yeah.
So the next thing that you need to determine is your safe withdrawal rate. What is your safe withdrawal rate and what is a withdrawal rate? So according to Wikipedia, I'm not going to read it, you guys can read it, but basically it's how you're going to draw down or spend your retirement savings. How are you going to decumulate the assets that you've accumulated to achieve FIRE? So usually that safe withdrawal rate for the fire community tends to be a 4%. That's based on the Trinity study that was done several years ago. I believe it was 1996. Mid-90s anyways, the Trinity study was done. And they determined that over a 30-year period, you could safely withdraw 4% of your assets and still have enough money to sustain your retirement. Depending on what type of a retiree you're going to be, you can go with the 4% rule, or if you're more conservative, really don't want to risk running out of money, you can go with a 3 or 3.5% withdrawal rate.
Yes, in our case, we are gonna tell you later. Wait. How do you calculate our fire number? Before getting into the formula, the first thing that you need to do is budget. Take a look at your yearly expenses in your budget. So this is actually what is gonna help you to calculate. And keep in mind, it does not have to be perfect. All that you have to do is start tracking your expenses, and you have, a better understanding of how much you spend year per year. So to calculate the fire number, all you have to do is get your annual expenses and multiply by 25. So once you do this, you're gonna get your number. So that's how we call our fire number. What is important though is when you do multiply by 25, we are actually using the 4% rule. So if instead of using, if you want to be more conservative in your file number, instead of multiplying by 25, you can use it by 28. So you have in a way better, you have some room available to you.
28 gives you about a 3.5% safe withdrawal rate.
So that's how you calculate. It's easy. Get your annual expenses, multiply by 25 or 28, and you get your number. For example, let's say that you are planning to spend $50,000 per year. When you get the 50,000 and multiply by 25, you are gonna get 1.25. So this is your final number. If you want to still use the $50,000 as your annual expenses, and you want to be a little bit more conservative, instead of 25, multiply by 28, and you're gonna have 1.4 mil. So that's the number that I have to keep in mind.
Yeah, so that's the amount that you need to save in order to safely withdraw either 4% a year or 3.5% a year.
Yeah.
Depending on which one's more comfortable for you.
Awesome.
Good.
Let's get into our final number. If you do remember from our last video, we thought, it might be 100,000, 20,000 per year, and the result is, it's complicated. Because it is going to be divided in two parts. The part one, for the first 10 years, as long as we retire, we are going to be slow traveling the world, so we are considering a certain amount of money for this part. And on the second part,
we're still traveling, but it's going to be a more permanent life in Canada.
Yes, that is correct. So let's get into the numbers now. For the first 10 years, we are assuming that we are not going to have any mortgage. There's going to be no rental, nothing in Canada. The cost per month that we are assuming is for housing, it will be $1,500 per month. Grocery, $500 per month. Entertainment, dining out, having fun, $500 per month. Travel, $600 per month. Health insurance, $200 per month. A global data plan, around $20 per month. And some of the expenses that we might have here, most related to the car that we're going to live in Canada, we are thinking about $245 per month. So altogether, our expenses are going to be around $43,000 Canadian after taxes. So that's how much you are actually thinking of what it's going to cost us.
So the second part is our fire number for when we return to Canada after 10 years of slow travel. Hey, it might be longer than 10 years. If we are having a great time and still living life to a really good quality, then we can slow travel for longer. But right now we're planning and budgeting for 10 years after we slow travel, returning to Canada and establishing a slightly more permanent base here, which will include renting an apartment somewhere in Ontario, not Toronto because it's too expensive, but somewhere in Ontario.
Yeah.
So our second fire number is going to include 2 housing costs. We still plan on traveling, so we're going to have an apartment rental in Canada, which we're budgeting for about $2,200 Canadian a month. In addition, we're also budgeting for $1,500 of housing rental abroad for approximately 7 months of the year. Our grocery budget's going to stay the same, around $500 a month. Our entertainment and dining out is going to be slightly more at $600 a month. Because we're going to be traveling back and forth out of North America more, we've increased the travel budget to $1,000 a month. Again, that's going to be subsidized with some travel hacking, and that's over the course of the year. So we're looking at 1 major flight out, travel around, 1 major flight back. It's just broken down over several months. Our health insurance we've increased because we are going to be a bit older and it's probably going to be more expensive, to $300 a month. A global data plan, we increased it because we'll also have to pay a cell phone here in Canada while we're here, so $80 a month. And our Canadian expenses slightly more because we may have more car expenses, life insurance, stuff like that, at $275 a month. So our total for after 10 years of slow travel, our fire number then will be $70,000 Canadian after tax income.
Now let's discuss our funding strategy. As you know, personal finance is personal. Having said that, we are, really lucky because Christine does have a defined benefit pension plan, and the way that we are gonna be, taking the money out, we have to consider that pension. But I'm gonna let her explain what's going on.
Yeah, so our funding strategy really relies on 2 parts. One is our investments, which you all know, or if you haven't, you can just look at some previous videos, but we are invested in dividend-paying stocks. Yeah. So our goal is to achieve $40,000 of dividend payouts every year.
Yeah.
I think we can achieve that, but regardless as if we don't achieve that, we're also going to be receiving every year, once I turn 50 in 2028, my pension, I know, my pension is going to kick in. And as of right now, the numbers are telling us that each year we will receive $35,000 from my pension plan. And that's indexed to inflation. That's until we pass away, we're going to be receiving that money. So we have to take into account the pension and then make up the difference is our plan with our dividend paying stocks.
Yeah.
Ideally, we want to achieve $40,000 in dividends per year by the time we retire. Anything over and above what we need to live on is going to be reinvested so that we can keep continuing to grow that. So that when we reach our second fire number of $70,000 after tax income, we can draw on the dividends as well as the pension to achieve that amount.
And even during that, what it's important is, yes, we do have the defined benefit, but don't, kill yourself. Even with Christine, with her benefits, there's so many things that you have to consider, especially what is the best scenario to withdraw money. Does she need to withdraw from the RSP, from the TFSA, from this dividend account, which is the margin account? There are so many things to consider. Yeah. So do talk to a financial planner. I cannot emphasize, enough how many times this is actually important for you.
Yeah, they're really going to tell you what's the most tax efficient way to manage your money once you retire or reach financial independence. And that's something that we're looking at doing right now, actually.
Yeah, it might be the third video.
Yeah, we might have another one. So we're actually talking to a few fee-only financial planners right now to see how realistic our goals are and how we would be able to draw down the money that we would have at that point. So we'll share that with you guys once we have those numbers. We'll let you know if it's going to be possible for 2024.
Yeah, exactly. So as you can see, this 43,000 or 70,000, this is what we think that is going to happen. So that's why it's really important to talk with someone else who has expertise and experience. So we will share with you our final result in a third video.
Yeah,
and of course,
down the road.
Yeah, don't forget to subscribe and to hit the notification so you know once the video is gonna come.
Yeah. So how about you guys? Do you have your fire numbers figured out? What do your fire plans look like? Yeah. Please let us know because we're excited to hear what everybody else has got going on. Keep us posted.
Yeah, and do you think it's realistic? Is there anything else that we are missing in our number that we did not consider and you are actually considering your situation? Please, let's talk.
We'll talk to you guys later. Have a good week.
Bye. I don't have to say anything then. I promise it's the last one. Moment of silence, and then we know it's gonna be the last one.
So the second fire
Oh, sorry,
number.
I'm using my glasses.
That's okay.
Okay, look at the camera. So now let's discuss how we're gonna fund our fire number. As you know, personal finance is personal. And I keep saying and pause.